Digital ladies breaking the chain, rising in crypto, we're changing the game. Crypto frontier, we're claiming our space. Not your keys, not your wallet, know your place. Unscripted, we're bold, we're free. Melissa, Keda, Lady K, and Opti. Dip the toe, come ride this wave. Digital wealth, we're here to pave.
Welcome to Digital Ladies Unscripted, where we celebrate trailblazing women shaping the digital frontier. Today, we're absolutely thrilled to be able to bring you the creator of Digital Ladies Unscripted, as well as Dip a Toe, our lovely Miss World Be Free, better known as Melissa. As the charismatic host of the Dip a Toe Show, Melissa is a force in the Web3 and XRP communities with a bio that packs a punch. We have the opportunity of a lifetime. Those that give it attention will be rewarded. She's all about expanding our thinking, cutting through the noise of crypto volatility, and building inclusive spaces for women to thrive. From hyping underrated projects to dropping wisdom on personal growth, Melissa's voice is unapologetically bold and inspiring. Melissa, thank you for joining us. Let's get it started.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for putting me in the hot seat this evening. How's everybody doing this evening?
Now, the question is, how are you doing this evening, young lady? You are not the host today.
I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We have our lovely Miss Optimistic Prime and Miss Lady K. Tell me how you're doing today, ladies.
Do you want to go first?
Of course you may.
Go for it. Amazing.
I'm fantastic. Yeah. Awesome. Excellent.
Awesome. So first, what I'd like to do is to find out a little bit about Melissa. Can you tell me about yourself, please?
Oh, boy. Oh, gosh. Yeah, this is hard when someone asks you the questions, isn't it? Well, let's see. I'm a mom first. I have 2 boys and 6 grandchildren and a 7th on the way. I grew up in kind of a dysfunctional family type thing. Didn't come from much means whatsoever, but it's always kind of taught me to fight back, recognize the assets that are around me, things that could help lift me out. I've always questioned things my entire life, and I've always wanted to give back. And so I've tried different things in the past to try and make an impact in some way to give back to the world. And I stumbled upon, well, I spent many years as a truther myself, of like Optimistic Prime, and I'm sure a couple of you spent many years waking up, so they call it, and it was very emotionally and physically draining, trying to get other people to wake up, so to speak, and I realized that I was almost spinning my wheels and wondering if the things that I was doing, was it actually helping anybody? Was it making a difference? And I kind of decided that I realized that people, they're only wanting to wake up when they're ready, right? You can't force anybody to do that. And so anyway, about, I want to say in 2019, the big boss at work bought everybody Bitcoin as a gift. And I had known about Bitcoin for many years, except when it first came out, when my youngest son came to me and said, Mom, Joey's got this electronic money and I'm going to buy some. And I said, no, you're not. No, you're not doing that. And I tried to look into it, but everything was super, super complicated at the time. And so I didn't. I said no. And then, of course, years and years later, the big boss bought us the crypto, and he showed us how to do a wallet and everything. And at the time, you had to leave it in this wallet for a year. And they sent you emails, which I think is a fantastic way of onboarding people. You learn, you get these emails, you learn about it. And then after a year, you could move it to your own wallet. You had to learn how to create a wallet and then move it. And so that's what I did. And in the interim, I stumbled upon XRP and went down that rabbit hole. So yeah, I really started educating myself. One thing about Bitcoin, you start asking questions about money like you never have before. I'm an accountant by trade. Never questioned money, never questioned what they had told me to do, debits and credits, and the way that we account for things is this way, and I just do it, right? So I started asking all those questions and dove a little deeper, and then I was like, holy smokes, this is kind of not how I thought it was. And so I created a show called Beyond the Brink with a friend of mine named Kristin. We had a Vita broadcast network, and we were going to do streaming radio, yada, yada, yada. That show was about a year or so, year and a half. And then that kind of fizzled out. She was no longer able to do it. And I started having my friend Simon co-host with me. And we were just talking, easy, early, elementary type crypto topics. And we decided, I said, would you be willing to co-host a show with me? And he was like, yeah. And so I created the Dip a Toe Show. And that was back in October. So we're coming up on 2 years for the Dip a Toe Show. And it's been an incredible journey ever since. And I've been learning all sorts of things.
Awesome. And I have a question for you. You brought me to my first question.
Oh.
So your bio says, we have the opportunity of a lifetime. Those that give it attention will be rewarded. What sparked the mindset for you, and how did it lead you into hosting Dip a Toe?
Well, so like I said, as I started researching money and the financial system and the world as a whole, just learning about other countries and the limitations that were placed onto them, how the BIS and IMF and all these larger institutions really had a stronghold on these other countries, and really fighting to be able to do commerce across the world, just being at a severe disadvantage. And then even us not realizing what money is when you put your money in the bank, and, just all of the things about money that we never knew, right? And when I started investigating and researching the digital asset space, and, like I said, it started with Bitcoin and then really dove into XRP and XLM and XDC, and I see what they were building, it sparked the thought in me of back when the internet came out, and learning how to connect via dial-up and all of these things back in the day. You had the resources to teach yourself. You had to, because there wasn't all of this prefab stuff where they just kind of fold you into the mix, right? Where it's like plug and play now, where, people don't know the skills that we had to learn when we first were coming on. So anyway, I knew about all of these companies, but at the time I had no idea how massive they would become. And, you always hear the stories of if I had acted upon, Apple or Google or any of these companies back when I knew about them, I'd be a millionaire with a small amount of money. So when I started doing all this research, I'm like, holy smokes. Not to mention, studying about the fourth turning and, history and repeating itself and all these things. I saw a cycle. I learned that money was never really meant to last more than 100 years, more like 80 to 100 years. So I knew that era was coming to an end, and I can see them building it. And so when I say this is the opportunity of a lifetime for those with the eyes to see, those that give their attention, if you do your own research and you just put a little bit of your dollars next to their big dollars, you could end up really creating a wealth for your family. It might take 10, 20 years, but it's going to be so worth it. So yeah, that's what I mean by that.
Ladies, do you have any questions that you would like to ask Miss Melissa?
I can go next. What inspired you to create the Tiptoe Show and Digital Ladies, and now Digital Ladies Unscripted?
Well, like I said, I've always wanted to give back. And so as it was like before President Trump went down the escalator, right? I was really starting to learn about politics and all of that stuff. I didn't even really understand politics too much. I kind of stayed away from it. I was one of those people, like, I asked a lot of questions, but I never really got involved in any of the division topics. And politics is a hot one, right? Religion is another one. And so I dipped my I cannonballed into that, okay? And I started learning all kinds of things, and I would go down a rabbit hole, and I would read the newspaper, and I would type out, words that I saw them talking about in the newspapers, and it would lead me to these other things that you normally wouldn't know about. And it was massive. It consumed me, and I was trying to tell everybody, look at this, look at that, and pretty much. I lost family. I lost friends. People don't talk to me anymore because they assume I'm of a political, one direction or the other for whatever. And so through doing that, spending all of my time and energy trying to wake people up just to get them to see that they're intentionally trying to divide us. That was my goal. Like, listen, guys, this is all a show. Like, they're playing a part. They're trying to divide us. And, I would love for you to wake up and just see that for what it is. Well, nobody doesn't really they don't want to talk about that. And so anyway, I was spending hours and hours and hours, very consumed by it. And it was, like I said, it was physically and mentally exhausting. And I had to take a step back and say, what can I do? Like, I'm not going to run for office. That's not me. I'm not going to argue with these people. I'm not going to get in these fights with people. I think that is a waste of time. It's misdirection. What am I really missing here? What is really happening? And, at the same time, there was the Bitcoin thing, started researching about money. And that's what I realized. Aha, this is the big distraction. Because what's really happening is the transformation of our financial system. And so I really dove into that. And I thought to myself, how can I help other people learn about this without having to have a direct conversation with them? And so, like I said, we did the Beyond the Brink show. But that gal, she really wanted to continue to kind of talk about those divisive issues. And so that's not really me anyway. I don't really want to talk about divisional issues. So when I created Tiptoe, and we had our first our show, it was like, this is where I belong. This is how I can help people through, and then it's kind of taken on a nature of its own. When I stumbled onto all these wonderful people, I came across Optimistic Prime, had her come on the show. I met you and the ladies, in the Discord, and realized, like, there are some super, super smart people that are involved in the digital asset space. It's not what people think. And so with Dip a Toe Show, particularly with the Faces of Crypto series, I really wanted to spotlight all the different kinds of people that are in this space and what they're doing in this space, to kind of break some of those labels, stereotypes. Exactly. Yeah. And so, like I said, it's just kind of taken over. But I absolutely love it. And I've just met some fantastic people. So I'm very grateful for that.
Thanks for your answer. I feel like this would be the perfect time to ask one of my other questions, which is just simply about Simon.
Oh,
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear part of that.
I was with Simon, and so I was just.
Oh shoot!
Am I cutting out? Am I cutting out? Am I cutting out?
Ask the question now, because you're right back.
Okay, just if you can give advice on how to find a good co-host, and how you guys met, how he became your co-host.
So Simon and I, through my Bitcoin journey, I came across this account called Bitcoin Ben. I'm sure, wow, we got 146 people in here. That's awesome. But so I came across Bitcoin Ben, and I was listening to him, and he was so inspirational. And I will say, I will give him a little bit of credit for inspiring me to have the courage to start a show. And so I originally was going to just be like a consultant, right? And that was part of his thing, where he's like, you guys should come to my conference and, get to know everybody and be part of Bitcoin Ben's consultation services, so to speak. And so I really thought initially that that's what I was going to do, is I was going to be a consultant, and I was going to charge people for it, right? That was my I'm going to do this. And so anyway, I went to the first, I think it was actually his second conference that he had. And there I met Simon and a bunch of my friend Christy that I had the Beyond the Brink show with. I met a bunch of other really nice people. And so anyway, we weren't like instantly connected at that particular event. However, what kind of spun off from that event was this private group that we formed called Weekly Zoomers. A friend of mine named Brenda created this Weekly Zoomers group. And so every Sunday we would get together and we would have a Zoom call with all of these people. We had a Discord and we had all these people in the Zoom call. And I kind of was organizing the Zoom calls and all of that. And anyway, Simon was one of the people that would be on the Zoom call. And we kind of got to know each other through that way. And then we met again at another conference, the same, Bitcoin Ben conference. And so I think it was just one time when Christy couldn't do it because I knew Simon. I said, hey, Simon, would you mind to co-host Beyond the Brink with me one time? And he said, sure. Well, as soon as he came on, we just hit it. It's like we're brother and sister. We've known each other our whole lives. It's just a natural fit. He doesn't get stressed out, through the learning curve and all of that. And so it was just really, really easy for me to be myself. And I had a lot of people say, I like this version of you. And I'm like, well, great, because this is me. This is who I am. Because on Beyond the Brink, I was trying to be very professional. And you guys will have to go back and maybe watch some of those shows and see how far I've come, because I will give this piece of advice to anyone that's considering being on a show or creating a show. Just be yourself. You can't be anything else. Otherwise, it's going to screw you up. But in any event, Apti, I feel like I've known Simon my whole life. I feel like he's my brother. You know what I mean? And so it's really cool. I'm very fortunate. Is there a trick to it? No. I think the trick is see the people that are right in front of you and give them a chance and try it. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, move on to somebody else. No harm, no foul, type thing. So.
And Lady K,
long-winded answers.
I know. I know you have some questions as well, for sure.
Yeah, Melissa, what do you think makes for a great show, and what do you hope your audience takes away from it?
Oh man, what do I think makes for a great show? Well, what I personally think makes a great show is laughter, smiling, upbeat, no dead air, and making guests feel comfortable when they come on, and picking up the things like if what I try to do when people come on, if I sense that they're kind of nervous, or they feel like they're behaving as if they're insignificant, I try to turn it around and let them know, like, you're not insignificant, you're awesome, and here's why, because I see you, right? And it works every time. It's worked every time. And so I think to have a great show, you need to be prepared with what you're going to talk about. You need to research your guests and really let them know that you did some homework on them. That's why you asked them on, so you're prepared to talk to them. And yeah, and have somewhat of an outline, but you can't read off a paper the whole time. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, and just have it be fun. Just be fun. Laugh.
Awesome. I have a
I'm
question
wondering.
for you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, if you could interview anyone, who would it be? What's your dream
man.
interview?
Oh gosh. That is a toughie, man. Oh man. Well, I will say this. I was super excited that I thought I was going to get to interview Santiago Velez, because I've been following him for super long time, because he's so super smart. And so, but I didn't, but I got to interview Fabio Marzella from Zowdow, and it was an absolute wonderful interview. I was so excited that I got the chance for that. I would love to interview Brian Brooks, because I kind of got a little bit of crush on him, because I really like the smart ones. I really love the smart ones. I'm going to give you a handful. David Schwartz would be awesome, but I think if at the end of the day, if I said, like, could you pick one person? I think I'd pick President Trump, because I think he is such a freaking interesting person that I would just love to get him in the hot seat and make him feel comfortable, and ask him whatever freaking question I wanted to. You know what I mean? So yeah. That would probably be.
We're gonna help make that happen, Melissa. It's my goal in life now. It's gonna happen. Yeah,
I think it can happen for sure. I do have another question for you, Miss Melissa. As a woman in Web3, what challenges have you faced breaking into the XRP community, and what advice would you give to other digital ladies that are just starting out?
Well, I would say, okay, you have to have confidence in yourself, first of all. Realize that you don't know everything. Everyone's very kind here in the XRP community, very kind. I would suggest listening in to the different spaces that are out there. Listen to different videos, get a wide perspective. Don't just stay in a box. I always say, I don't want to be put in a box. I need to, expand my thinking, and I need to see different perspectives and be around different people to kind of get a real world view of the things that are going on. But if you're going to try to break into this, just take some baby steps. Find a community that you feel comfortable with. Watch them move. Watch them move. Don't just jump in. Watch them move. Start having some conversations. And then when you start feeling a little bit more comfortable, you can come to the Dip a Toe after space, or you can come to Digital Ladies after space and come up and you'll realize that you're welcome here, right? Because you can stumble into some of these spaces where everyone sounds super duper smart, or they're talking about things that are way over your head, or they're arguing or whatever. Find one that you feel comfortable in, and then just jump in a little bit and start asking your questions. And, over time, your confidence will grow, and teach yourself things. You don't have to tell anybody that you're doing it. You can do it silently in the background, but make sure that you start teaching yourself things, whatever it is you want to learn. Then you actually have an intelligent question to ask and somebody will respect that. You know, that they'll respect that you've done the homework in order to ask them a question. And that will just help you with what you're kind of studying. So.
Okay. Opti, did you have another question?
I have a couple similar ones that have already been asked. My next one on the list was, what are some of the biggest learning curves you've encountered? What, I can't read my own writing, of the pieces of advice you would give someone interested in starting their own show? I think you just covered sort of that right now, but go ahead.
Not really. The learning curve for, especially like if we're talking about specifically like dip-a-toe or, you know,
yeah, I'm talking about like the actual.
Even starting with Beyond the Brink, I had to teach myself Canva. I had to teach myself video editing. I had to teach myself how to connect to, you know, the internet and streaming. I had to teach myself about cameras, about microphones, the audio. I have to do it. I have to go back to do it because I stopped doing it because it becomes a money thing too, because there are tools out there that can help you. But they cost money. And so I have done a lot of things manually. And, you know, I have podcasts and everything set up, but it is like so much time to go from a show and then upload those, you know, download the audio only, upload them to the platforms that you want them to go to. And then they change their rules. And then you got to, it's a lot of work. I tried to teach myself, and I did teach myself the one that everybody uses. A lot of the streamers use it, and it's free. I'm missing the name of it right now. If somebody knows, but it's the one that you know you can put your own. Or? Not Riverside, no. This is the one where it's free. Put it on your computer. And then you go in through a different portal, or you can actually use it with StreamYard or use it with what is it, Stream Deck. I think there's that. I've used Zoom. I've used like 4 different things, and I have to tell you, if you want easy, StreamYard, and they have evolved. The price, if you wait for a deal, you can get a full year for like a more of a premium membership to it, subscription, and you'll have more bells and whistles, and you won't have to have the StreamYard in all of your streams. But I mean, I used the free version for well over a year before I bought the premium, and even because you can stream to 8 different places with StreamYard if you have the premium. If you don't, a little workaround is to invite yourself, have multiple StreamYard accounts and invite yourself and then stream to those places. And so for over a year, that's what I would do. And so, I mean, there's all these steps that you have to do to get it going. But, you know, I would just say, if you're going to try to do it, get StreamYard, monkey around with it, attach it to your accounts, and just try. But you have to learn Canva. Canva is the other tool. I've tried other things as well. I spent a lot of money on, you know, the Photoshop and this and all these things, and too complicated, too much time. I tried video editing because originally we would record videos, and then I spent hours editing them and uploading them to YouTube. Nope, go live. Just go live. It's so much easier, and nobody cares. Believe me, nobody cares. Nobody cares. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about crypto, because I know that we do focus on Web3. We focus on, you know, those projects that are building on the XRP.
I just have to say, XRP Stewie. I'm sorry, but I've never heard of you guys. I heard of Lady K. When are you guys new? No, we're not new. Well, Digital Ladies Show is new, but we're not new.
Yeah, XRP Stewie, I know you. Don't even
let's just say I've been on some Stewie spaces when I first started.
Sure. Me too.
Yeah, and he likes to fall asleep sometimes. So shout
yeah,
out to him.
couple 2-3 times, just a little bit. But I will
Get
say,
used to
you're
it.
vocal about early XRP days, like remembering when it hit 58 589 or 0.589, and everyone was buzzing. What drew you to XRP specifically, and how has your view evolved?
Mm. So when I started researching about XRP, I didn't really know about like who Ripple was or any of that stuff. I stumbled upon the XRP itself, and read about it being able to exchange value for value, and the Nostra Vostra accounts and all this stuff, and thinking about what I touched on earlier as far as some of these countries that don't have a strong currency or don't have a lot of money, they're like beholden to the IMF for loans and all of these things to be able to even participate in the world economy, and they're being at such a disadvantage. And when I started researching about XRP, I thought, man, this could be a way for them to have their own currency in their own country and be able to participate in the world economy using XRP. In my simple mind, that's what I saw. And I thought, well, that's not just for countries, that's for people, just for people in general, to be able to have a business and accept any currency around the world. And so it really excited me. Then when I like almost as soon as I bought into it, like not too long after, they did the lawsuit. And I found out about the lawsuit. I didn't even realize that there was a lawsuit or whatever. And of course, my conspiracy theory mind said, oh yeah, there's something to that, because all of the other large companies, they just so happen to sue also. And look at how big they are now. And I am a problem, reaction, solution thinker. I think they create problems, and they want to know the outcome. And so they create the problem and the solution. They create the fighting on both sides so that they always know who's the winner, what the winner is going to be, because it's easier to control that way. And to me, that just makes common sense. So that is really, and then the more pushback that I got, actually all of my I shouldn't say all, most of my Bitcoin friends just did the old about face, turn the back on me. None of them will come on my show or anything, because their narrative is so much different. And I say it's not the same thing. So that even gave me a big clue too, that this was something bigger than just your average coin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, first, and I definitely love that answer. I definitely have to give a shout out to the 228 and counting that are currently watching this stream. We are streaming live on IMU TV right now here on YouTube and also on the X app. So we are so glad that you decided to come and hang out with us here on Digital Ladies Unscripted. In our chat right now, we have an illustrious group of people who have come to hang out and learn all about Miss Melissa. Everybody from Stone, Connie, Mr. Zam, Mr. Niall Cottrell, the CEO of IMU TV is in the audience, as well as Rob Nichols. We have XRP Papa. We have all kinds of amazing people that come out and support. So we are so glad that you're here. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We even had a super chat from my girl, Miss Crypto Glamour TT. Tangible in the house. It's super sweet. So we are super glad to have you here and for you to find out more about Miss Melissa. Lady K, did you have a question?
I do, because we're talking about crypto. Melissa, you are an accountant, right? And the blockchain is all data and the transactions. And once we have more mass adoption and say all our transactions are on the blockchain, how do you think it will benefit accounting?
Man,
blockchain.
Well, so that was the other thing too with with Bitcoin, triple ledger accounting, in the immutable ledger. And so, let's just say there's a lot of unique accounting methods that people use to move money around, inflate value, just all kinds of things that they do. And I feel like, I shouldn't say that. Who was it? Karma said, stop using feel. Don't say feel. I believe that being on the blockchain and transparency is going to be a huge benefit to us, to be able to really see. A lot of companies put their financials online for folks to see if they're a public company, but you really don't get to see like their transactions and stuff. And not that you're necessarily going to be able to see all of those, but when it comes to auditing, there will be an easier trail for them. So I suspect that there's already people that are learning the forensic accounting side for the blockchain that'll be ready to kind of step into action. Most companies, I would say, like especially small business, it's not even really on their radar yet. I think they're going to end up getting folded in with companies like QuickBooks when they finally come on board, or some of these accounting software packages where they'll end up doing it for them type thing. But what it'll also do is it'll put a lot of people out of work because, especially the ISO 2022. And I know a lot of people they go, oh gosh, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. Well, it kind of is a big deal because of the data that can be in that payment when you send it.
Yes.
What I see is as more and more businesses come on board and they're all using that, I see instantaneous posting of payments, for let's just say like accounts payable and receivable, that sort of thing. When you make a payment, you'll be able to have your account number. And so it gets posted instantly when they pull that batch in instantly to your account. That's going to reduce accounting errors significantly. So yeah, it is a big deal. So anybody that's in accounting, I would kind of start looking into stuff and think about how you can expand your knowledge and see how you can continue to be part of it. I'm not saying that it's going to go away or anything. But if you start learning about this stuff, I think you're going to be an incredible asset to any company that starts using blockchain. I hope I answered your question.
I think you did. I think you did for sure. And
Yes, definitely.
so I know that you've been bringing on people who are faces of crypto, different projects that are building on the blockchain. What have you seen that you believe are the game changers currently of the projects that you have interviewed or seen and would like to interview?
Well, first of all, there's so many unique ideas out there, and hats off to anybody that's trying or thinking about either bringing their business on the blockchain or starting a business. I think, I'm just going to say IMU TV is probably my absolute favorite. Partly because I never even bought an NFT before. I met Niall. And I think Amanda's the one that kind of brought them up to my radar. And one day Niall says, would you like to become a protector? And I'm like, I don't know if I want, I don't know if I do, because I knew nothing really much about NFTs whatsoever, with the exception of being a ambassador for the Shakaka coin with 68J. And that's kind of a big deal and actually Amanda and Keda are also ambassadors for the Chicago coin. And I really, when I was asked to be an ambassador for that, I was really hesitant because I'm like, I know nothing. I don't want to be shilling a meme coin. That's not the kind of person I am. But in any event, I don't really want to talk too much about that. But when he asked me, and I really started learning about what IMUTV is doing, it really impresses me, and all of the hard work that they're doing there at IMUTV, and tokenizing, selling through the NFTs. You're going to be able to make a little bit of money off of ad revenue and other types of things that as they evolve. So imutv.tv, if you guys aren't familiar with that, please check them out. Another one is TexRP. TexRP is like, bringing all of the messages, all the different messages that you get from different social medias. And I don't know about you guys, but I have way too many apps. I don't have time. And so they're incorporating the blockchain XRP ledger with their TexRP platform, and even making it so you're going to be able to exchange NFTs and tokens and payments and all of these things. Keep your eye on them. You've got TrueFi. That's another one that I'm really impressed with. They're just starting, and they're a company that is helping onboard businesses into crypto. So ones that don't know, or maybe they either have a business or someone that's thinking about building a business. And they're going to show them how to do it, kind of like a blueprint for newbies that are coming in and learning about that. Man, there are a lot. And then there's people that are selling art. They're learning how to sell their art. They're learning how to sell their music. You have people like Amanda, Optimistic Prime, with the Wandering Footprint, and creating a community. Kind of like the Angie's List of the digital asset space, of the blockchain space, and creating a space for the wanderers and people that are either like homesteaders or even campers, I could see, or people that want to be in touch with other people that sell goods, natural goods and stuff, and being able to connect those people to be able to accept crypto. I mean, these are all innovative ideas that they deserve to have the spotlight shined on them, because that there's big business that are creating all these complicated things, and they're going to roll in and they're going to get the mass, advertisement from all the big money. We're the little guys. We got to support each other. And if we don't do it, no one's going to do it for us. And so that's where Dipito comes in. That's where Coffee and Crypto with Stone comes in. Keda's Brew TV, what Lady K does. That's why we're here. Because if we don't do it, it won't be done. So
I agree with that. Lady K, did you have another question?
I do. I'm curious. What interview or show or interviewee surprised you the most, and in what way?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was too busy saying Bitcoin. I just teasing Stewie. Wait, what was the question? Sorry.
Okay, so what show or interviewee surprised you the most, and in what way?
Oh man. Oh wow. What one surprised me the most? I don't even know. I think every time I do Faces of Crypto, it surprises me. I'm always delighted because when I'm looking for people to come on Faces of Crypto, I'm looking for a diverse group of people that might not necessarily know each other. And every time they come on and there's a cohesiveness to it and they're vibing with each other in real time, it's just awesome. I love it. And so I would have to say, the Faces of Crypto definitely are the ones that surprise me but now my expectations are getting higher because
Right,
because
right.
it's been so successful, you know. So
Faces
Well,
of Crypto is my favorite, by the way.
Yeah, and I agree with that. So along those lines, I have a question for you. So tell us about a pivotal moment in your podcasting journey, maybe a guest or an episode that totally shifted your perspective on crypto or life.
Oh boy, gosh, I'm trying to think of all of the shows. We're having our 100th show here coming up.
That's so good.
Here's a little. I don't know if you guys know the Not Financial Advice account.
Yes.
I love the guy. He's fantastic. He agreed to come on, and he's going to be the hundredth show, which I think is super cool.
That's so good. He's so sweet. He is such a nice guy.
Yeah, it's fantastic. He won't show his face though, and that's okay. Because it's not Faces of Crypto, but the rules are you come on Faces of Crypto, you gotta show your face.
I met him in real life, so I know what he looks like.
Yeah, exactly. I know that's what I said too. Geez, we've had some real powerful people come on, and I've been really proud of them. Like, I don't know if anybody saw, but it was kind of early on. We had Versan Al-Jara on the show, and it was a very human. It was a human side of him, a soft side of Versan. And like, I was so proud of him, listening to him talk about, just the way that he was raised. And I was just thinking, like, your parents must be so proud, at how much you and your brother are just really like teaching yourself. So he was one that I think was a different, the interview turned out differently than I thought it was going to, like even better than I thought it was going to. But and I mean, I'm trying to think of one that like really stuck out, that changed my perspective. I don't think anybody's really changed my perspective, except they added to it. Like, I think my most recent favorite was the crypto security show. That
Lady
one.
K.
Lady K was on it. It was fantastic. The guys from XRP, Zoj was there. Who else did we have on that one? Patrick Riley. I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't even get me started on. Oh, Mike Lass. Every one of those guys had just fantastic information. And again, they all jived with each other. People picked up where the other one left off, and it was just awesome. It was an awesome show. So yeah, I think that was one of my most favorites.
Awesome. Again, this show is really doing things like legit. We have 296 people watching this stream on IMU TV across the board to the X app, and then also here on YouTube. And listen, when I tell you, we are so thankful for you to be here. Please like and subscribe. Please go to and also don't forget, we will be having our After Dark space on the X app at 10:10 Eastern Standard Time. And it's where we get a chance to actually talk offline and then also be able to answer questions and have a real good conversation. It is 8:48 on my computer. So I just want to make sure that we don't have any more questions that either of you ladies might want to ask. Miss Opti, would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, 13 minutes left. All right, so I have like 3 questions left that are just sort of like, I can think we can mix them all together. So the first one was, you're so good at interviewing. Did this come naturally, or were there skills that you had to home in on? And then my kid just came in my truck, of course, at this very moment. And then the next question was about XRP Vegas. So I think my question was, what did you learn? Were there takeaways? Would you, if you were interviewing people live again in a place like that, is there any things you would do differently? And then the final question was about software and hardware. So you already answered the software one, but I think inside of the XRP Vegas, is there any hardware that you'd really love to have that you're saving up right now? And those of us who are monthly subscribers to the Dip a Toe show, and we are part of the Token family, there are monthly subscriptions are going towards what, what's your dream product that you're saving up for that we all can celebrate when you're able to get it.
Oh gosh. What was the first question?
Just about your skills about interviewing. Like, you're so good at interviewing. Is this something that came naturally, or did you? Yeah.
Well, I think it does come naturally. I've always asked questions my whole life to a point of like probably irritation for some people, and reiterating the answer back to make sure that I have an understanding of what was said to me. So I've always kind of done that. And when I was younger, I was in a theater troupe, an improvisational theater troupe, and so I think that kind of helps a little bit, and just part of my personality, really. I think I love to meet new people, and I've always told my boys too. People want to talk about themselves. They want you to ask them for advice. If you want to go far in life and you're a young person, ask somebody that you respect, that you see. You want to go where they're going. You want to be where they're at in life. Ask them how they got there. 9 times out of 10, they're going to answer the question, and they're going to be thrilled that you asked them. And so I kind of just approach it with the confidence that most people are like that. And for the ones that aren't, they say no, or they just don't answer me. And then I'm like, okay. And I'm kind of getting used to people. If I don't get hurt feelings, like if somebody doesn't respond to my inquiry or whatever, it's like, oh, it's fine. As far as XRP Las Vegas, I would like to be more prepared. Possibly, I thought I was prepared the best, but just being more professional, trying to figure out like where the camera is, maybe have a better camera, lightweight camera that I can set up, maybe instead of my phone, to actually do the interview, better audio equipment, because the microphone, the sound on it wasn't very good. But I was pleased at the response to the folks being interviewed. I think we got some really great interviews. I just think the quality wasn't that good. So, I saw like Ray Fuentes walking around with like, super professional stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's like out of my league at this moment, but it won't always be, So, I would say that just being a little bit more polished, a little bit more professional, maybe having a helper or two that knows what needs to go down, instead of trying to do everything myself.
That you see the look I'm giving you right now, right? You see that look.
I mean, hey, listen though, you got to have somebody that knows that they're there to help you, because when there's one thing I've learned, when you're in an event like that, people are there, they get distracted. They can say they're going to help you all they want. They can say it and they can believe that they're going to do it, and they don't. It just because it's so awesome to be in a place where there's so many people that you can't help it, right? And so you really need somebody they don't care about all that stuff. They're just there to help you, right? And so if I could afford to have someone do it, that would be very helpful. So that's probably the main.
And it was such a great event. Truthfully, I always give you the flowers of convincing me to go, you and Simon, because, I was already going to be in Vegas to begin with. However, I wasn't going to go to the convention, and, I was like, I was like, I'd rather spend that
Well,
money on some more XRP, but around, and I said to myself, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and had I not gone, I wouldn't have met so many of the people that are in our comment section right now. I would have never met them in person, and to be able to say that you have your magical internet friends,
yeah.
and to really be able to say, I hugged Opti's neck, and I'm going to get to hug Lady K's neck when I go to to New York in November. Like, this type of stuff is what we've been working towards. And come heck or high water, I'm trying to get you and Miss Opti there too. So and that's the beauty of it. I love the fact that you've brought together a group of women that feed off of each other so well, and we're able to have such amazing conversations even outside of these shows, to be able to talk about how we can do more, how we can be more involved in Web3, and you're trailblazing the way for those that will come after you. Like, they're going to be looking like, oh, I know who World Be Free is.
Right.
I know who that is. And those 309 people
but
that
I'll
are
catch
watching.
them up later.
Except
Right.
Stewie. Stewie doesn't know.
I'll
And
catch you up later.
Stewie's disappointed. He's disappointed. I saw him like, why are you disappointed, Stewie?
For sure. And there's 310 people in here that are all over the world that are now getting to know you as well. Right. So
awesome.
This is the good stuff. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We are a new show. This is only our fifth week. And we already have over 300 people in the room on live. Hello.
Wild. It's
Hello.
wild.
And they came to see you, Melissa.
Well, I will say I'm posting the link in the chat to the after space. So hopefully you guys join us. One thing I wanted to say, I created Digital Ladies Unscripted. As first of all, people like to see ladies get together. It was successful every time we had a ladies episode on Dip a Toe, and Jay 68J Crypto for Life had his ladies,
and Steak and Bake too.
And Steak and Bake. It's a very popular thing. People like to hear the perspective of the ladies, and not only that, you three are, first of all, I love you to death. Like I love you to life, I should say. And I see you're so smart. You're such a bright, shining light. And I wanted to create something where you guys can come on and like flourish, learn the ropes. Learn what if I can show you what I have learned, because it's been 4 years of trying to do all this, you can bypass all that stuff, right? I can just show you, get this, get that, or whatever, and you get to use it. And then, hey, if you find something different and easier or whatever, that's fine. But I can give you a leg up is what I'm saying. And you three, I see as someone that can handle it, and it'll just take you to the next level, because you're already well-respected members of the community. And I see even more, even greater. So whether you end up going on to having your own shows or whatever, it doesn't matter. It will help you in anything you do, being on a show like this, in my opinion. So that's why.
Big shout out to Ruru for that super chat of $9.99. We so appreciate that. We're definitely never coming out here for anyone's hard-earned money or anything like that. So it's always a blessing and super sweet when we see that. So thank you for that. We really appreciate it. We have 2 minutes, a little less than 2 minutes. And we actually have a brand spanking new theme song for our show. So any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Well, you want me to give the last thoughts?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. yeah, I just want to thank everybody just for even being interested, the 323 people that are in here. When I first started it, never did I think that it would get to the point where it's at. But I am really starting to see this has the potential to really go somewhere. You know, the Dip a Toe show is going places. Digital Ladies Unscripted, we're going places. And, you know, being able to be on IMU TV to boot and be part of the early journey with them, it's just like a dream come true. To say, you know, we're in 30 countries around the world, and you know, it's just it's incredibly awesome. It's fantastic. Like I always say, fantastic.
All right, so we're gonna get out of here. I'm putting on the music.
Putting on the music, guys. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you so much for coming.
We love you so much.